everybody. I'm Bernie. Alcoholic. And I'm not speaking at a meeting, so I actually have notes, because that's unusual. So I wanted to start out by expressing my gratitude for the people that put just this Wellness Day event together, because this has all happened without me even knowing it, okay? So I really just want to give them a round of applause. Let's just do that. And there's, some key people here. Dr. Stephen Danziger, Gina, we've got Amanda, Johnny. I'm invariably going to miss other people. I mean, there's a whole wellness team, and I'm just so impressed with the level of just professionalism and just attention to detail. And I want to thank you guys so much for putting together this amazing, lovely event. And this will be our second one. So, what can I say about working in treatment, and what I can say about, my vision for 180 is, I'll start out by saying I know what doesn't work in addiction. I've worked at some of the top treatment centers in California. I was at Promises, for example, for about 8.5 years. As Steve said, I really literally did everything. I've been, a tech. I've been, as he said, the aerobics teacher. I would be known to do dishes and blood pressure simultaneously sometimes, if needed. I learned from the ground up. And so in terms of building a center, it was really important to me that my staff comes from a place of, real humility and integrity. And I can tell you that everybody here at 180 is handpicked, with that being that everybody here is really passionate about what they do. So just to talk a little bit about how my treatment approach, how I envision it going forward. I worked, again, about my history with tons of relapsing heroin addicts. I mean, that's what I was known for. Anybody who's been in this field invariably that knows I've sent them a referral, they're like, it's a Bernie referral. You know what I mean? I'm not so sure. I don't know if I want to take it. So I don't know what this is going to be. Because I'm notorious for having the super traumatized, relapsing, out of control, that nobody else wants to deal with person in my office. And, it took me a really long time to figure out what the heck to do. And I ran into somebody a while ago who said, in my journey here, who was like, well, I do EMDR, and I'm like, that's really weird. Doing the whole, waving your fingers in front of their face things, not so much for me. I don't think I don't think it's going to work out for my clients. But what I ended up doing was, in my own life and in my own recovery, I tried doing EMDR as a patient. And through that experience, I had to get to a place where I thought, I have no choice. I have to go become an EMDR person. Because talk therapy is so limited. And particularly when you're dealing with addiction and people's inability to self-soothe and have the self-regulatory skills. It was really apparent to me that without utilizing other therapy approaches, that I was going to have my hands tied. So I've come to find that the cross-section between addiction and trauma, they're married often. As Dr. Shabrasi was saying, without really knowing and treating the central nervous system and the self-regulatory mechanisms, you don't get better. because drug and alcohol addiction, in my opinion, is really about the lack of those skills, often based in early trauma. So I am obviously an EMDR certified therapist. I've had the honor and luxury of having some of the most talented mentors in my experience. Namely, I just have to say it, Andrew Leeds, who wrote the Resource Development Installation Protocol, and I utilize a lot of his skills and do have the honor of being able to pick up the phone and get him on the other end often, which I do. So here, you know, out of my experience of working with this really difficult population, I also utilize equine therapy. I happen to be a horse person. I grew up here in LA, and weirdly, you know, was able to ride in Griffith Park. You know, I've had the experience of riding up until I hit 16, which, you know, I found cars and boys, and horses went out the window. But I, in my own recovery, had a horse in my life again. And through that, I am also an EGALA certified equine therapist. And what that means is that I utilize horses often in my trauma work and in my addiction work here. You know, because horses are herd animals, they are flight animals, and they're able to read energy